Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pat Flynn Show. It is always a joy to have you here, my little rabbits, for another action-oriented, short, practical Monday morning episode. We are going to talk about this kettlebell routine that I've just been having all kinds of fun with. It's just stimulating, it's fat burning, it's muscle boosting, it increases kettle booty, gives you all the things you could ever want. And it's called the Swing Swing Other Thing Protocol. I did not come up with that name, by the way. That is a name that came in from a gentle listener and email subscriber. And fortunately, I've had a lot of followers experimenting with this protocol as well. And I would love to hear how it goes for you if you decide to try this out. But hey, listen up. If you're looking for a minimalist, efficient, effective, engaging kettlebell routine that's going to help increase general physical preparedness, that has minimal barriers to entry in terms of time and equipment investment, you're going to like this episode. So stay tuned. And we're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it to the point. I want to give you something to work with and then send you on your way. So a little bit of background. What is the Swing Swing Other Thing protocol? Well, it's an EMOM protocol, and EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. So that means at the top of the minute, we're going to do some exercise for some number of reps. We're going to rest the remainder of the minute. And then at the top of the next minute, we're going to do some exercise for some number of reps and rest for the remainder of the minute. And then we're going to continue to work for however many minutes are prescribed. So I love EMOM routines in general. I think they are just a phenomenal training tool. They have enough flexibility that we can use them to build strength, muscle, endurance. They also just help us to be more efficient. What we found is in training, as with any area of life, if you kind of restrict the amount of time that you have to work or to rest, you tend to be more productive. This is Parkinson's law, that work expands to fill the amount of time allotted to it. So approaching training as a minimalist, we should, like, even if we could spend a full hour in the gym, maybe a lot of times it's useful to say, okay, I'm only going to give myself 40 minutes or 30 minutes and let's see how much I can get done. And what you'll find is you probably won't text as much between sets, and you'll be more discerning in your exercise selection and your sets and reps. So, when you impose certain restrictions on your training, it tends to increase efficiency and effectiveness. Not always, but a lot of the time. And that's just because, again, it's Parkinson's law. If we give ourselves a lot of time to get work done, we'll typically take all the time we give ourselves. So all that aside, EMOM routines are good because not only can they be used for building full body strength, but you keep yourself working at a certain tempo. So you're going to get a cardio benefit, a conditioning benefit, an endurance benefit. I've used EMOM routines in conjunction with many different exercises and complexes throughout the years. I'm sure many of you are familiar with those routines. So it's one of my favorite protocols. But the Swing Swing Other Thing is just a special variation of an EMOM routine. And it's, as the name implies, you will do swings for 2 minutes and then some other thing for 1 minute. So for example, at the top of minute 1, you'll do a set of swings. For the top of minute 2, you'll do a set of swings. And then at the top of minute 3, you'll do some other thing. And we'll talk about what that other thing can and maybe should be here in just a minute. But what I've found, and what has been repeated to me from other people who've tried this, is that there's just something magic about the 2-to-1 swing other thing ratio of having 2 sets of swings followed by 1 other thing. It just feels good. It's nice and juicy, if you know what we're saying. And tremendous, again, for building conditioning, power, but also practicing some other high quality strength moves as well. So it's minimalist, it's efficient, it's effective, it's everything you could ask for, I think, from a kettlebell routine. And it keeps it simple. There's just not a lot to think about. You just set the clock, you do the work, you've got at most 3 different exercises, and you just, it's one of those punch the clock workouts. And we love punch the clock workouts because you don't have to waste any brain juice. You save the brain juice for other things. And if you don't have to waste brain juice on workouts about thinking through things, all the better. So here are some examples. Here are the ones that I found are just work really well for this. And here we're just filling in the other thing. And by the way, I'm sorry, it's Monday morning. I haven't woken up and had my coffee yet. So cheers. Let's take a sip of coffee together. And let me do my normal petition. So if you're on YouTube and you're witnessing this excellent, remarkable, high quality Pat Flynn PowerPoint, please smash that like button, headbutt it, sidekick the share button, subscribe, ring the little bell. If you're on iTunes and you're driving, please don't try to look at the PowerPoint on YouTube. Just focus, and I'll include this on the show notes page so you can get the the write-ups, if you will, over at chroniclesofstrength.com. So for now, just sit back, relax. Let me put this sweet information into your ears, and you can get the write-up over on the show notes page afterwards. So focus on the road. Okay. So what are some examples of the swing other thing routine? Well, here's one that's really basic that I love. This is a go-to for me if I'm just crunched for time. I need to get something in. Maybe I've only got one kettlebell, and that's just swing push up. And what I like to do for the swing other thing is I like to have floors and ceilings for this. So let's say I'm going to go for, and by the way, so even the amount of time you do this for, I think it's worth having floor and ceiling. So maybe you have a floor of, I'm going to do this for 6 minutes. That's the minimum. No matter what, I'm going to do 6 minutes. I think that's a pretty good floor. And you know what? 6 minutes is not even bad. It's not even bad, my friends. If you do 6 minutes of a swing other thing routine, you're going to have accomplished something. So you can pat yourself on the back for that. I think probably up to 30 minutes is where we're looking at in terms of a ceiling. You could go more than that, but I think somewhere, generally, so floor of 6 minutes, ceiling of 30-ish minutes. But most of the time I'm prescribing these between like 10 and 30 minutes. But it's good to have floors and ceilings. Like, here's the minimum I'm going to hit. I was talking about this on a podcast the other day with a friend of mine, Marianne Kane. She had me on her show, and she asked me what one of my pieces of advice was for, just busy people who are stressed and got a lot going on in life. Maybe have a bunch of wild children running around. And I said, one of the best things that I found for both myself and my clients is just having some type of minimum, having some floor in terms of what you do every week or every day that is so easy to hit that barring some like serious medical emergency, you're going to be able to get it done. And having a floor, I think, is really important because it's one of those things that it's like zero barriers to entry. It's only, for example, it's only like 6 minutes of working out, basic exercises like swings and push-ups. It doesn't matter how tired I am. It doesn't matter, if I have the juice, if you will, for a more complicated, intense workout. Like, I can at least get this done. And the reason that's so important is because when it comes to fitness, it comes to exercise, when it comes to anything, it's about habits, it's about dispositions, it's about keeping moving in the general trajectory that you want to be moving in. That's the stuff that really matters. Consistency, and also keeping a winner's mindset, keeping a victor's mindset. So if you have a floor that you can always hit, no matter how low that floor is, and you get it done, you're going to feel good about yourself, and you should feel good about yourself. And you can check the box and you can feel like you accomplished something. Whereas if you have these long, extravagant, convoluted, complicated workouts, and you skip a routine here and there because you just didn't get a good night's sleep or you're really stressed, then you start to feel defeated. You start to feel like, oh, now I'm getting out of the groove. Now I'm being inconsistent. And you start to have this defeatist mindset. So what I shared with Marianne, and I think it's relevant to this because these types of routines work really well for having floors, is have some type of floor every day where, okay, maybe I have my ideal routine. Like, ideally, maybe I'll get this 30 to 60 minute, full body training session in, but no matter what, I'm going to do a swing other thing, swing push-up routine for 6 minutes. And as long as I do that, that's a win. That's a victory. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I shared it with Marianne, and she agreed, being a busy mom herself. So I think the swing push-up, swing other thing routine is a perfect floor where if you do nothing else, 6 minutes of that is going to be money. You're going to feel good. So what would this look like? Well, I think just 10 reps of each is perfectly fine. Or maybe you give yourself a range for the push-ups where you go 10 reps of swings, 10 reps of swings, and somewhere between 5 to 10 push-ups. If you're really good at push-ups and you want to challenge yourself more in the push-ups, you could do other push-up variations, decline push-ups, one-arm push-ups, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. You could also elevate your hands and do explosive push-ups if you just want to train the push-up in a different style. So some type of push-up variation. And you'll do minute 1, 10 swings, minute 2, 10 swings, minute 3, 10 push-ups. Depending on the intensity or the weight you're using, you might also just give yourself a range for each of the exercises. So give yourself a floor and or ceiling for all the exercises as well. So you might say something like this: hey, I'm going to do at least 5 swings every time I do swings, but no more than 10. And I'm going to do at least 5 push-ups every time I do push-ups, but no more than 10. And this is also not a bad like auto-regulation thing when it comes to the swing other thing protocol, because if you give yourself a floor and ceiling, like I'm going to hit at least this, but no more than that for each of these exercises, then then it can help you to adjust the overall workout. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you start going below the floor, that means either you should stop the workout because you're smoked, right? So say you're like 15 minutes in and you've been above the floor of all the exercises for those entire first 15 minutes, and then you start failing to hit the floor. Well, that really to me means you're good. You're done. You've kind of smoked yourself. So there you go. Just call it there if you fall below the floor. But another option, if you really wanted to keep going, is just keep the is just readjust the ranges, right? So maybe you said, okay, I'm gonna get between 5 to 10 swings every set, but I'm 10 minutes in and I'm huffing, I'm puffing. Okay, well now let's get between 2 to 5 swings for the next 10 minutes. So you can just readjust your ranges there if you want to keep going. Because again, like anything else, especially when we're doing stuff that's on the clock, we must focus on quality before quantity. Always good technique, always working as a precision instrument. So those are just a couple ideas of how you could organize the workouts. So the first example, I think the most basic, but also wonderfully useful, is the swing push-up. You can do swing press or swing push press. The way I like to do presses with this is as follows. Swings. Yeah, generally for swings, I'm doing between 5 to 10 swings almost every time, right? I give myself that range between 5 to 10 swings. And more often than not, I'm hitting consistently 10 swings every set. Doesn't take too long. You get plenty of rest still, and it's just a good pace. And you can still use a decent swing weight. Honestly, for these types of routines, I'm typically using a 28 kilogram. I think 28 kilogram for most men is a sweet spot for the swing other thing routine. I think like a 16-ish kilogram for most women is going to be pretty good. Of course, adjust according to your preference, experience level, size, etc. So with presses, one cool way to do this is just you ladder up presses as you go. So you could do swing, one press, right and left for the first 3 minutes. Then you could do swing, 2 presses, right and left for the next after that. And then you just add, like every time you get back to the press, you add a press. And then go up to 5, and then you could go back down, or you could just start the ladder over. So I think for presses, ladders work really, really well and allows you to really train the press in just a high quality way and really get strong at it. So I would recommend just if you're going to do strict presses, ladders are awesome because then you can go a little bit heavier with it and really get the strength benefit. If you're going to do push press, then I think ranges are fine again. So maybe between 5 to 10 reps, and then switch sides every time you come back to the push press. So for the first time you do the push press, it'll just be on the right side. And then the second time you come back to it, it'll be on the left side. If you start trying to do both sides, you're probably going to, it can be done. Don't get me wrong. It can be done, but you're going to start skewing the work to rest ratio. And what I generally recommend, and what I think is probably necessary for the swing other thing routine, is that you never want to break a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. Meaning at most you want to work for as much time as you rest per minute. So the amount of time it takes you to do any particular set should be no more than 30 seconds. And quite frankly, I think between 10 to 20 seconds is even better, so that you're getting more rest per work every minute. And the reason being is if you want to work for a continued amount of time, if you don't want to get completely smoked early on, we need to make sure that we're not going beyond that 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. If we start working more than we're resting, these are going to be short-lived routines. And there's for the purposes of this, there's no need for that. Okay. One variation that I love and that I use very frequently are swing dips. Obviously, you need some type of dip station for that, but I just find this to be just a tremendous combo. So I wanted to put that in there. But we can also do pulling. So we had 3 pushing variations there, but this works really well for pull-ups. So if you want to practice your pull-ups, it's tremendous. So I just did the other day, I did swing chin up, and I just did sets of 8 on the chin up. Now chin ups are fairly easy for me, so sets of 8 aren't that intense, but you could do ladders with pull ups or chin ups as well. Start at 1 rep, and then every time you come back to it, add another rep. Or you could just do straight sets, of course, just sets of 2 every time. So that's fine, like straight low rep sets. If you're pretty good at pull-ups or chin-ups, then you can do higher rep sets. Again, you would adjust this according to your ability and experience level and all that. But those are some ideas. So this works really well for the pulling. You could, of course, just do rows, single arm or double arm rows. Also another fantastic variation, straight sets, ladders, however you see fit. And then, of course, we would want to mention the lovely Turkish get up. And I think generally, if you're going to include get ups in this, it's just going to be 1 rep per side every time you get to the get up. So you'll do set of swings, maybe 10 reps, set of swings, maybe 10 reps, and then just 1 get up on your right. And then next time you come back to the get up, you'll do another one on your left. So the classic swings and get ups routine does work really well for this. So that's it. I mean, you could just take those ideas and run and just use them as you see fit. But if you want a little bit more structure, here's an idea of how you could begin to structure this into something a little bit more organized and definite. And what I would say is this: assign an A day and a B day. And what that is you'll just take like one of the routines that I just gave you and say that's going to be my A day. So say swings and push-ups. That's going to be my A day. And you'll figure out what that's going to look like. So maybe it's 10 swings, 10 push-ups, something like that. And you're going to do it for 20 minutes. That's your A day. So you're just going to assign an A day, something that's appropriate for you, but also something that reflects what you want to get better at. So like if you've been wanting to improve at your pull-ups, then make sure that one of your days includes pull-ups. If you want to get better at presses, then make sure one of your days includes presses. So there's flexibility here for you to choose the thing that interests you and that you want to get better at. You're going to be doing swings no matter what, which is awesome. But focus on the thing that appeals to you or would fill some gaps or weaknesses, or you just want to get better at. So you'll assign an A day and a B day. So maybe you'll do something like swing. So here's how Pat Flynn would do it if he wanted to do this right now. My A day would be swing dips. I would want to do 20. I'd want to do 30 minutes on that day. And I want to do 10 swings somewhere. Actually, I'll give myself a floor. So I'm thinking through this out loud. I'll hit at least 5 swings, but no more than 10 swings every set. And for me, if I fall below the floor, I'm done with the workout. So for me, the floor is that's a standard I have to hit. If I don't hit that, then the workout is done. So I'll go no more than 30 minutes. But if I fall below the floor, then the workout's done. And if that happens 10 minutes in, fine. Pat Flynn smoked that day. And that's the end of it. So at least 5 to 10 swings every time I do swings, and at least 5 to 10 dips every time I do dips. And I have to stay above the floor for both of those exercises. And I'll go up to 30 minutes if I can. But of course, I have to stay above the floor. So that would be my A day. And then my B day, I'm going to pair that with pull-ups, and I'm just going to do the same thing, the same exact thing, except for we're going to swap dips with pull-ups or chin-ups, whichever you prefer. I would probably just vary that up. And 5 to 10 of both of those exercises. If I fall below the floor, then the routine is done. And then what I will do is we'll just do ABA, BAB type of structure, meaning on week 1, on Monday, I'll do the A day. On Wednesday, I'll do the B day. And on Friday, I'll do the A day. So week 1, we'll have 2 A days, 1 B day. Then on week 2, we'll do BAB. We'll do B day on Monday, A day on Wednesday, B day on Friday. So we have week 1 is ABA, week 2 is BAB. And that's a beautiful structure there, my friends. It's minimalist. You're training 3 days a week, no more than 30 minutes per session. Generally, you can practice the things you want to work on. You're going to get cardio from that. You're going to get strength from that. You're going to get power from that. You're going to get muscle definition from that. Add in a sort of minimalist warm up and cool down routine. Maybe do some jump rope, some hangs, some crawls, stretch whatever's tight, hit this, get in, get out, get on your way. So there you have it, my friends. I just want to leave you with that. Like I say, I hope you like these Monday morning episodes. For me, the Monday morning episodes, the start of the week, let's give you something you can do, something practical, something useful, something energizing. So I want you to do me a favor, like the video. If this is helpful, please share it. Please subscribe. If you're on the podcast, please leave a review. I know I bug for these things a lot, but they really do help. And I really do appreciate when you guys take the time to help out because it makes a difference. So let me know how this goes. Give a comment. If you've been doing this already, I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear what you've been experimenting on with this. Let me know the exercises you've used and how you've structured it. I would seriously be interested in that feedback because, like I said, I'm working on designing a more formal program around this. So it'd be cool to just hear what you guys have found useful in this regard. Otherwise, be sure to hop over on the email list because that's where I share my most frequent and I think best, workout, training advice, all that sort of thing. And you can get on my email list and score 101 free kettlebell workouts over at 101kettlebellworkouts.com. That's 101kettlebellworkouts.com. Friends, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you very soon.